I'm Pastor Danny, and I'm the pastor of worship and communication at The Rock, and this is my beautiful bride, Sheri.
We are high school sweethearts. We've been married for 20 years now.
In 2009, we were blessed with an amazing little boy. At the time, we had Madison and Jackson and Kennedy, and Lincoln came along.
On a Sunday, we went to church and came home, and I put Lincoln down for a nap. He was 7.5 months old at the time. Then I went into the room to grab something, and I looked at the crib, and I felt like something didn't look right. So I picked him up out of bed, and he was limp, and he was lifeless. And I yelled to Maddie and Jack for one of them to go get the phone and call 911. And I started doing CPR on my baby boy.
They rushed Lincoln in and went into an emergency room and surrounded him with what seemed to be 8-10 different people all working on him on that bed. And we sat out in the hall. Devastated. Praying the one thing over and over, Lord, just save my son. Just save my son. They stood up, and you could tell they were dejected, and one of them walked over to us and said we couldn't save him.
So we went into the room, and we had to tell him goodbye.
And I remember questioning prayer. I remember for just moments, even questioning God, and going, why would you let this happen? I remember people wanting to come over and people wanting to do things for us, and us saying, well, we just didn't want to see anybody. We didn't want to talk to anybody. It was just a rough couple days of trying to push people away until I think we really realized that the only way we were going to survive is if we let the Lord surround us with the gift He'd given us, and that was His people.
Right, so we opened up our home, and we let people come over. We had elders here and other staff and our families and dear friends, and we stood right in this kitchen and we
prayed.
Yeah, we prayed, and it was powerful, and I just felt like God started healing us even then from the deep grief that we were in. Our growth group came in our house during that time and cleaned our house from top to bottom, and they painted our bathroom, of all things. They left little treats for us everywhere.
We came home, and on the walkway all the way up to the front door were rocks that were just filled with scripture verses, which we still have almost 7 years later.
And we had verses that people had given to us, posted up around the house to encourage us.
Because it's so easy, at least for us, it's so easy to all of a sudden wake up and be really far from God. But to be so intentional about remembering His faithfulness and every day giving thanks for what we had, giving thanks for His provision, giving thanks for His grace, and making sure we did that every single day.
I just think in my core, I know that God is in control, and this is just something that happened, and I just trust Him.
One of the key phrases that kept going over and over in my head was a phrase I had learned from my theology professor, where he said, never doubt in the darkness what you learned in the light. And I remember talking about it, thinking about it, going, Lord, everything I know about you to be true, or everything I knew about you to be true,
is still true.
Is still true.